Today at Manchester Theatres, I am pleased to be joined by Northern writer and actor Caroline Lamb, whose award-winning play On Me is coming to the Martin Harris Centre on the 5th of March and the Octagon Bolton on the 7th and 8th. Now, Caroline is known for writing stories that really delve into the grey areas of life and question long-standing opinions and things like that. As resident writer for Dangerous to Know Theatre Company, other plays have included The Dissolution of Percy, Shirley, Theft of a Girl, and of course the award-winning On Me, which is getting a revival due to critical acclaim. So, Caroline, thank you so much for joining me today. I know not long to go, so you must be in the thick of it, right?
Yeah, we're actually at the Octagon Theatre right now. My cast are in the studio rehearsing. It's looking fantastic and it's exceptionally exciting.
It really, really is. And this story it's kind of like a story within a story based on a true crime sort of docu-series, isn't it? So can you explain the plot to us a little bit?
So in the world of the play, the characters are making a true crime documentary, and it's about two characters called Maurice and Anton. That's the docu-series they're making, who Anton, of course, being the perpetrator, we're not ever quite sure what he does, but it sounds like he's killed at least a couple of women, and Maurice is his ex-partner who escaped him, so she's his survivor. But the play itself is not about that story. The play is about a documentary that is being made about that story. So the two central actors of the play, the two central characters of the play, are called Shona and Christian. So they're playing Maurice and Anton. They're being cast to do reenactments as part of this docudrama or documentary. So, of course, Shona, who has some trauma in her past to do with gender-based violence, she is cast in the role of Maurice, the survivor, and Christian is cast in the role of Anton, the abuser, the criminal, the perpetrator of crime. So these two actors are having to jump in and out of this world, of these characters. However, offset, when the cameras stop rolling, they're starting to get quite attracted to each other. So they are looking at going out for drinks, they're flirting, they're having a lovely time. But then the challenge comes that they have to perform some really troubling scenes when someone shouts action. And it's how they deal with that, and it's how they deal with the shadow of Me Too, the very real threat of gender-based violence, and the longing to just be impulsive and have fun, and how that all combines.
Yeah, it's so clever what you've captured there, because it's like you say, it's this whole movement that everybody is now very aware of, but then you've got actors playing that and trying to navigate that whilst having a real life, and it takes special actors to do that. So can you tell us who is playing Shona and Christian?
So Shona, since the start, has been played by the wonderful Leah Edelstein. And Christian is played by the fantastic Alexi Papadopoulos. And they have, like I say, been involved since the start. They do a fantastic job, and they're clearly very, very comfortable working together and with our team, which of course is exceptionally important. But one of the great things about this casting is I was very, very keen for the actors to make the audience feel like they know them, like they are friends, like to emote with them. And I think that these two achieve that very, very well.
And I think what's clever from my understanding of it as well is you're looking at these themes and these stories, but you're not kind of saying, well, you're the perpetrator, or you're this, or you're that, so you've got to take responsibility. It's actually a collective, isn't it? So if you were there, if you see something, if you know something, you are, you've got to take responsibility and speak out as well, isn't it? Is that kind of what you're doing with this?
Yes, well, it's quite interesting actually. When we take it to the Octagon, we are partnering with the wonderful charity Endeavour, who are a domestic abuse, domestic violence charity here in Bolton. And they are also planning some really great wraparound activities. So they're looking at running bystander awareness workshops, etc., a little further down the line. However, directly after the play, we're also having panel discussions. So every evening, we've got this roster of absolutely fantastic speakers. In the Martin Harris Centre, it's sort of headlined by the Deputy Mayor, Kate Green. We have charities, we have local organisations, we have kind of frontline workers, and everyone sort of sits down for a 45-minute chat after each performance. And the audience are welcome to ask their own questions. We'll have some pre-prepared questions to start, just to warm things up, and then it opens out to the audience. But that's another fantastic way of getting people to basically understand what they can do, to ask questions about what is currently being done, and to make some practical changes as well. At the Martin Harris Centre, we're raising money at box office also for charity. So, we're wanting to make a practical change. This isn't just making art about a traumatic issue for its own sake. We're wanting to make change.
And I was going to say, because I was going to ask you about that, so thank you for bringing it up, because I think from someone on the outside looking in that is just so, I don't know how to say it without making it sound awful, but there's no ego there as opposed to the work that you are doing this completely for the right reasons, and that your work has actually evolved and been rewritten based around these discussions, hasn't it? Because I think this is the third time that you've done the play, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really nice actually, because there has been rewriting, but it's mainly been from a practical perspective. One of the really nice things is that the panel discussions, what's come up is that some of the observations in the play are already so strong and so reflective of how things happen in real life, that it's just bolstered us, and it's helped us to understand that we're going on the right track. But it's, every input that we get from these specialists is something that we consider and, will help to shape the play, certainly. Of course, working with Dangerous to Know also gave me the opportunity to collaborate on multiple projects with the fantastic Helen Parry, who's also directing on me. She's such a fantastic sort of voice in the Manchester fringe scene and has done so much great work. So it's absolutely wonderful to be working with her again.
Honestly, it's brilliant. And I imagine because of all of this, that the rehearsals for this show must be some of the safest spaced rehearsals like ever. They must feel really comfortable to do this.
Yes, yeah, and I certainly hope that everyone feels that way, because we're trying to make it such a space, like as you say. One of the biggest challenges, and something that is actually brought up within the play, is the issue of an intimacy coordinator or an intimacy director. Now, one of the biggest challenges, especially in regional theatre, is actually being able to access someone who's able to provide those services. And in our position, we have not actually been able to gain the services of someone to do that. So it's quite interesting, actually. I sought out a qualification in that sphere, and the only course I could find, it just said online, we will arrange a date for this course once enough people express interest. But the problem is that no one's going to express interest if they don't know when it's going to happen. So it's like a cycle, and I wasn't able to gain that qualification. However, what we have done is made it an exceptionally safe space where there's myself as the AD externally saying, if there are any issues that you don't want to discuss in the rehearsal space, I am here, and I am purely here to support you guys. But also, I think that there's been a heck of a lot of it's been a strong bonding experience between every member of the cast. We all know each other very, very well, and we know to respect each other's space, and we know that we can say, or they know they can say, if they need a break, if they need anything.
So where did this idea come from then? Because you do like looking at work that challenges like long-standing attitudes and stuff. So what, I mean, it's so clever, but where did it come from for you? Where did it spring from?
I was actually doing some research for another piece that never came to fruition into the world of true crime, and I was watching a heck of a lot of true crime documentaries, a lot of which were very gratuitous, it felt, and very, they were just looking for a big dramatic story and kind of, farming female trauma just for their own sake. But I was really interested in the reenactment scenes because coming from the world I come from the theatre world, there are these are actors, this is a credit now on their CV. They've come from somewhere, they're going to somewhere, who are they? And I did think about what safety precautions are in place, what support networks are there, how friendly is their team they're working with, is it, and what is their relationship? How do they feel about each other? There was some quite intimate stuff happening in some of it, and I thought this is purely for viewers' sake. How are they being treated and how do they feel? And I did my MA at the University of Manchester in playwriting back in 2020 over COVID. And one of the things that my tutors were saying, which makes perfect sense, is that if you don't write about something that means a huge amount to you, it's not going to ring true for the audience. They're just not going to believe it. And I realised, having worked as a supporting artist, background artist on film sets quite a lot, caring a great amount about sort of female safety, gender-based violence, intergender relationships, and politics, and having this new curiosity for true crime and how it works, they all kind of married together so perfectly. And that's basically it. That's it. I just started writing, and that's where it came from.
And of course, we've talked a lot about the heavy themes and things, but I do believe, despite that, because it's real life, there is actually quite a lot of humour in this as well, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my policy when writing is always to think about the light and shade, as is vital for every writer to do. And I think particularly with heavy themes, issues hit harder when when someone makes you laugh, when you enjoy spending time in their company. You're watching these actors and enjoying their relationship, watching it grow. They have a laugh together. It's really sweet. It's really fun. And then the rug's pulled out, and you feel that harder. You emote with them more, and it's more impactful. So yeah, our actors are very skilled in kind of their comedic work and a really great rapport with each other, and that really helps to keep things light, helps to keep things fun, but it also helps that when those moments come, they're that much more impactful.
Yeah, because that's true, isn't it? Like you say, if you've just got like the hard, it's even as an audience member watching that, it's a lot to absorb. But when you, like you say, when you put that humor in there, which is real life anyway, life is funny by its nature, it makes the message of what you're trying to do hit harder as well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It avoids that sort of desensitizing that a lot of these issue-based dramas can struggle from, definitely.
And it is one of the many plays you have written for Dangerous to Know Theatre Company as their resident writer. So tell us about Dangerous to Know. Who are they and what kind of things do they do?
Well, Dangerous to Know came into being over the winter of 2014 to 2015, and it was in the process of the dissolution of Percy being made. And it's quite interesting because right up until 2017, they were only doing period pieces. So Dissolution of Percy was based on the life of Branwell Bronte, but it also talked about sort of feminism and its place in a man's world and how it can actually do a lot to lift the weight off men and prevent that pressure of the men having to be the breadwinner and support women. Things can be more balanced, and it would be a safer world for men as well as women then. And then off the back of that, having done a heck of a lot of research, I discovered Charlotte Bronte's Shirley, which was about one of the many storylines in the book is about the Luddite uprisings. And at the time, it felt very much a parallel to worker displacement in the sort of the current era. So that became a performance that was performed in Promenade around a mill in Cumbria and Yorkshire Dales, which was fantastic. We also got a commission from Creative Industries Trafford and the National Trust that same year to do Theft of a Girl. Again, an issue-based piece, but also a costume drama, period drama, which was about a real-life kidnapping that happened in 1827, and it sort of threw to light issues of sort of the undereducation of young women, which is even happening today, really, to some extent in a different guise. But also On Me is a real departure. It's a play set in the current day with sort of modern people. Dangerous to Know as a group focuses on sort of modern day politics, social history, and it kind of looks at things from a new perspective. It tries to look at things from a new perspective, really with the only agenda really being progress, being conversation, and being making practical change for the better. The viewpoint is always balanced. There's always respect for everyone involved, but that doesn't detract from the drama.
No. No, it does not. And with On Me, like we said, it's been done a few times. So what would you love to see for its future? Would you like it to remain in more intimate theatre spaces? Would you like it to grow bigger, to go on television? Do you kind of have a dream for it, or is it already living what you want for it?
I mean, I'm absolutely thrilled that it is where it is today. It's just been such a dream, the whole journey. It's been fantastic. I think there's, unfortunately, due to the subject matter and due to gender-based violence not going away very soon, I think it will be applicable for a very long time to come. I hope it isn't, but
Yeah.
it looks like it will be. So the dream really is, for it to tour potentially. I think it works very well in intimate studio spaces, but, having some events with wraparound activities where there's things like bystander awareness training, there's discussions, there's support, which there will, by the way, be support in the spaces because of the subject matter. There will be charities on hand at the Martin Harris Centre and the Octagon to help out with that. But it's a very movable and malleable piece. It would work very well as an audio drama. It would work well on television because of its flexibility. So that also would be fantastic. I think it's also got the potential to go into schools and colleges. The age guidance there is 15 plus, so really GCSE and up. I think it's a vital subject matter for young people in particular entering their first adult relationships. But yeah, there's so much it could do. There's so many places it could go. And really, I'm waiting to be guided by the hands of fate as to what ends up coming out of this particular production. But I'm always looking for new opportunities for the piece.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best of luck with it. It is already, doing its job and really, really being out there, speaking things that people don't speak of, and bringing awareness to the masses. So thank you, as a female, thank you very much for writing it and putting it out there into people's conscious. I wish you the best of luck with it. As we've said, you can catch it at the Martin Harris Centre on the 5th of March and the Octagon Bolton on the 7th and 8th. On Me by Caroline Lamb and Dangerous to Know Theatre Company. Caroline, thank you so much for your time and your generosity. It's been really interesting listening to you today. So thank you and all the best with the run.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I agreed to do this because I don't want other women to end up like me or like those girls. Women should know how to stay safe from people like that. I think about it every day. I know that if I'd reported it sooner or hadn't provoked him or hadn't dropped the charges, then I might have been okay. I let my guard down. I should have stayed away from him. I should have protected myself. I should have tried harder. I should have tried harder. I'll always know it's on me.
Stop following me, Leo! Fuck it out!
Oh, sorry. Did I,
Are you okay?
No, I just
Sorry,
forgot my
I
line.
can
Oh,
bring
watch
that
out,
down.
sorry.
Don't go.
No. Oh, wait, so we could have...
Have you got it? Okay.